Good morning, everyone. This is Jordan St. Ange here with the 84 News, and we have some important information for you today. Did you hear that? IMPORTANT information surrounding Kick Butts Day. On this most special day, you'll be meeting with your legislators, aka the lawmakers of your city and/or town. But before we do that, we have some important information for you that will help you be the best advocates you can be. So I'm just going to sit back, relax, and hand it over to the 84 who's going to teach you these things.
Kick Butts Day is a day where youth come together from across the state to reduce Big Tobacco's influence in their communities. We'll start off with some food, have an opening session, and play a game of Kahoot to get everyone pumped up. Then we'll practice some chanting.
Chanting? What chanting?
Well, we chant things about how Big Tobacco targets youth and how we're going to stand up to tell the truth.
How interesting. If I may ask, Haley, what does the rest of our agenda look like?
Great question, Rachel. The opening session teaches some information about tobacco, and then you'll get an overview about how to meet with your legislators. As you know, Kick Butts Day is all about getting youth involved.
Well, that does sound like a great way to get involved. What will we be doing after that?
Afterwards, the youth will take some signs and their voices and march to the State House. This is where we'll meet some legislators, hear them speak, and then everyone will go off into their personal legislative visits.
Well, that does sound like fun, Haley, but it also sounds like it would make me really hungry.
Me too. That's why afterwards we'll eat some lunch and have a closing awards ceremony. This is where one youth and several chapters will win some awards. Some participants will also be earning swag bags for their hard day's work.
Thanks, Haley and Rachel. I know I'd be there if I wasn't stuck at this network. Now I'll hand it over to Carol and Delise to talk about Big Tobacco's tactics.
Hi everyone, we're here to talk about the three main Big Tobacco tactics that target the youth.
The tobacco industry targets youth by making their products sweet, with flavors like grape and cotton candy, bright and colorful packaging.
And also cheap, sold at prices that youth can afford at even less than $1. Really Delise? Tobacco is also easy to get, sold in pharmacies, corner stores, and places youth can visit often.
Remember, this includes products that might not seem harmful, like e-cigarettes. Flavored tobacco products come in many forms with names like Juuls, vape pens, hookah sticks, and many more. They are all part of the tactics to get teens to use their products.
Wow, Big Tobacco's tactics sure are sneaky. Thank goodness the 84 is here to help fight back. In case anyone was wondering what the 84 entails and what it is not, we have Diana and Delise here to tell us everything all 84.
The 84 movement is a statewide movement of youth. The youth conduct trainings, activities in schools and communities, mini-grant projects, work on local policies, and attend statewide events.
Yes, and also the 84 movement is about helping other youth feel empowered. We want to show local decision makers that we do not want to be Big Tobacco's targets. This is a movement for anyone who wants to stand up for health and wellness of other people they care about. We're not a movement that places blame on the individual tobacco user.
We also do not place blame on the youth. We want to educate our peers on Big Tobacco's tactics such as sweet, cheap, and easy to get us hooked. We also want to educate change makers on the effects we are seeing in our community.
Most importantly, we are a youth tobacco prevention program and want to make a change.
Thank you so much, Diana and Elizabeth. We are so lucky to have such amazing reporters here in the 84 News. Now let's hear from a few more of them who will tell us about the highly anticipated legislative visit.
Legislative visits are when you speak to your legislator about what's happening in your community. It's a great way to get your voices heard by our change makers.
The thought of speaking to your legislators may seem scary or nerve-wracking, but remember, they want to hear what you have to say.
On Kick Butts Day, you're assigned different legislators and given packets to give them when you depart, or to give their aides if they are not there. Remember, it is important to decide who will be delivering each piece of information before you go into the office to appear more prepared.
So when you go into their office, you may have to wait a couple of minutes due to their busy schedules, and if they are completely unavailable to meet with you, you may meet with their aide or simply give them a packet to pass along to the legislators.
The first thing you want to do at any legislative meeting is your introductions. You would introduce yourself, your chapter, and what the 84 movement is. There should be a really good time to deliver the 84 movement's messaging. It's important to remember to share some personal stories you have, and legislators will often ask questions as the meeting continues. You have to remember that the goal is education and not trying to push any state legislation or state policy. However, if you have worked on local policy in your town, please feel free to share that.
Also, at the end, remember to give them the packet, and feel free to take a picture with them. And don't forget to have fun!
Before speaking to your legislator, it is important to have a message that you want to get across. For example, you can use sweet, cheap, and easy to get as a message of the 84. That's what Big Tobacco uses to target the youth.
Cool, but what happens if a legislator asks you a question you don't know how to answer?
Good question, Cheryl. You can use a technique called bridging. This is how it works.
Should we pass the Tobacco 21 policy?
You know, Cheryl, policies are very important. But today, I'm actually here to talk about Big Tobacco tactics, such as sweet, cheap, and easy to get. See how I did that? When you're asked an irrelevant question, you could say blank, then bridge it to what you're actually going to say.
What would you say if they asked about a specific policy?
If a legislator asks you about a specific policy, you can tell them that they're very important, but you're only here to educate them about it. Also, it's okay if you say, I don't know, if you don't really know what to say.
Remember, we're focusing on education, not state policies. We're going to talk a bit more about what you can talk about with your legislators, but just remember that they want to hear from you because you are the real experts. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Well, I hope you all feel better about talking to your legislators. They are regular people just like you. But now you're in for a treat. Coming at you straight from the legislative office is Melaine and Havo. Enjoy.
Hello.
Sup?
So, no time for real introductions here, but we're just a group of teenagers from the 84 movement, and you probably already know what that is anyway.
Wait, isn't there a bit more we can say here to introduce ourselves? Like our names and what the 84 is? Let's try that again.
I'm Havo Okubrashoeva, and I live in Waltham, and I'm part of the Trailblazers, which is also a chapter of the 84 movement. The 84 is a statewide tobacco prevention program that focuses on youth empowerment, and the 84, the number stands for 84% of youth who did not smoke when the movement began. 10 years later, the number has reached to 92%.
You know, I've been seeing a lot of smokers in my high school lately, so maybe we should vote for Tobacco 21.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's gonna stop all those kids our age should be smoking.
Yeah.
Hold on. While we may have the best of intentions, these are the kind of things we want to steer away from in a legislative visit. We can tell our legislators how to vote or form their opinions for them. How can we do this better?
Actually, we're here to talk to you about how Big Tobacco companies targets youth our age. Like if you walk into any convenience stores, you would see 8,000 flavors just all over their walls. And they specifically been targeting my age because the flavors are blue raspberries, bubble gum, and
Strawberry.
yeah, they're right next to the candy section,
Mm-hmm.
and you can buy it for less than a bag of chips.
Yeah, definitely. We really want to tell you how this is all affecting our generation. So many consistent smokers began smoking when they were really young. I think maybe 75% of smokers began before they turned 18. I don't know,
maybe even 16 or something.
Actually, we don't want to blame youth either. We should be focused on the industry. What we can do is share our own stories and take down Big Tobacco's sneaky tactics. Talk about why you care about tobacco use. Talk about why you joined the 84 movement. Talk about how your community has been personally affected. Let's see how Havo does this.
So I've been noticing more and more that e-cigarettes are an especially big problem in my community. And the big tobacco industry know that they're attracting youth to these products because they know that people believe that there are a healthier alternative, which they're not. And the thing is that they're also, you can easily find them placed in corner stores and pharmacies all over the state. And another research has been shown that high school students' use of e-cigarettes is 9 times more than adults, and that is saying something. And to me, it's saying that the big tobacco industry is benefiting a lot from this.
Great job, Leigh and Havo. Way to turn things around over there. Now that we talked about the do's and don'ts, let's talk about making your legislative visit a bit more personal. Not that personal.
I have had several family members affected by big tobacco, and since joining this movement, I have seen the way that big tobacco targets youth by making their products sweet, cheap, and easy to get. They also target youth by having convenience stores that sell tobacco products right across or even next to high schools and middle schools.
I've seen Big Tobacco's tactics of making their products sweet, cheap, and easy to get in my daily life. These are some examples of tobacco products that you can find in convenience stores. Blunt wraps are sold for 99 cents with a variety of available flavors. Convenience stores sell hundreds of different tobacco products at their counters where youth pay for drinks and snacks. These products include flavored juices, flavored jewel pens, flavored blunts, blunt wraps, and many more.
Thanks, Delise. One thing that you can do at a legislative visit is add to your story by coming up with pictures of things you are seeing. As you can see in these pictures, the tobacco products are shown in the picture next to the colorful candies. Tell your legislator about how this attracts youth, and tell them how sometimes they are even cheaper than chips.
You can also talk about tobacco advertisements that you may have seen. This ad is making people attempt to smoke. They will this ad look young, look healthy, and physically good too. And these pictures will make them look cool. So don't be afraid to come in with proof and pictures of what you've seen.
Well, this is all we had for you today. We hope you enjoyed our segment, and we look forward to seeing you at the upcoming Kick Butts Day. We hope this made you feel better about your legislative visit. This is Jordan St. John from 84 News. Goodbye!